I'm interested in finding out how to best hold attention on others for assisting in their transformation and healing and remembering that they're source.
To know it yourself.
How do I imbue that on other, or transfer that to others so that they can have that awakening?
Well, we have a question for you. Does anyone transfer anything to anyone, or does law of attraction just match it all up? In other words, if you know something, can you transfer your knowledge to someone who's not seeking it?
On occasion, I would say yes.
Say again?
On occasion, I would say yes.
You believe that you can want someone to know something enough that they will then know it?
Maybe.
If that were true, all of you would know everything that Source knows. So what is the factor that keeps that from happening? It's the free will or the free vibration of the other. So we're talking again about power of influence. Yes. Certainly you have a much greater probability of uplifting someone if you are truly in a state of upliftment. Mm-hmm. And you have a much greater probability of uplifting another if they are seeking that upliftment. And certainly you have a much greater probability of uplifting them if they are in the vicinity of that which you are. But if you're vibrating up here and they're vibrating down here, if what you've been focusing on today has you tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and what they've been focusing on today doesn't have them there, they're in a place of despair, understanding the laws as you understand them, just from the conversation that we've had here this evening, are they likely to hear you? And even if you get really loud, even if you move really close in, even if you want it with all of your heart, do you have the right to impose your desire on another, even if it is for their well-being?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, in the vortex is their desire for well-being. But
Absolutely.
you have to see them as you know they want to be, not as they are. In other words, that's the tricky thing about uplifting. You have to get out ahead of it vibrationally. If there are people suffering in whatever way you want to imagine, and you want them to no longer suffer, you cannot behold them in their suffering without joining them on their wheel. Mm-hmm. So if you remain where you are and they are not capable yet of finding you where you are, then what? Then what happens?
Well, there's a dissonance.
So what are your choices? Do you then look at them and join them where they are? And if you do you have anything to give them?
That's not in service at all.
So you remain where you are and hold them as your object of attention. And how do you see them? As they are, or as you know they want to be?
As I know they want to be at the level of Source.
You see them through the eyes of Source.
Yes.
And as you see them through the eyes of Source, and they don't see themselves that way, how do you feel? If you're looking at them through the eyes of Source.
I'd say compassion and empathy occur to me.
Compassion is a really good word, because you know what compassion really means? Compassion is holding someone who's not where they want to be and not where you want them to be as your object of attention without losing your connection with Source. In other words, you don't go into pain, you don't go into regret, you don't go into sorrow, because you're out ahead of it. You're knowing where they're going, yes, not where they are. You're seeing the solution to their problems, not them in their problems. You're knowing how it really is vibrationally. You're focused upon the vibrational reality, knowing that if you are able to focus upon the vibrational reality and hold it with enough steadiness, that there is a higher probability of them then catching a glimpse of it, because they cannot maintain that lower vibration all of the time. In other words, when they slumber, their vibration raises. In moments when they're listening to music, their vibration raises. They look into the face of a baby or into the face of a puppy. All kinds of things happen to them. No one can maintain their vibration of disconnection consistently.
It takes
and
too
so
much effort.
if you are holding them, but if you in your consistency are holding them as your object of attention, compassionately knowing their strengths and knowing their well-being and knowing their value and knowing their worthiness, every now and again they'll catch a glimpse of the glimpse you have, and gradually their vibration will begin to shift until it won't be long before they're on the wheel more and more with you, where you're having conversations that are meaningful to them, where they're knowing, where they're feeling the resonance of the depth of the knowing that you hold. That was really good. Did you get it?